the big board. So 4 feet by 3 feet is the size of this board for anybody who wants to know. This is the one that I pull out very, very rarely. This is monstrous. This is the first time I've used this one in a long time, and this one really got away from me. So I had this idea of comparing where NHL teams are at the All Star break for each power rankings from 2018 through to 2023. Now I had to get creative with 2021 because we didn't have an All Star game, right? Due to restrictions at the time, they did not shut down the regular season to have an All Star game. They also wanted to get that season done as quickly as possible. The less said about that season, the better, right? So it is interesting to look at it, and as it is, and I had intended on making a whole production of it, then I got the idea to do 32 team reports at the All Star break, and that has dominated my day today. This is Monday when I'm recording this. So I thought, no, I do not have time. And plus, if you notice some of these are askew, there's a reason. This board, it fell down. And so when that happened, it all went kind of askew. And so I fixed it as well as I can. That was one of those, I saw it as it was falling over, and I'm like, so it's heavy, it's a large board. And I wasn't going to use this one either. I was going to use the 4x2, but it wasn't enough. There wasn't enough room. So let's look at this. First place in 2018 was Vegas. They went all the way to the Stanley Cup final. First place in 2019 was Calgary. They lost in the first round. 2020 it was Pittsburgh. Lost in the qualifying round that year. 2021 it was Carolina. Carolina was out in second round that year. I want to say second round. 2022 Colorado won the Stanley Cup. This year it's Boston that's first place. So Stanley Cup winners. We go through 2023, we don't know yet. 2022, it was Colorado. 2021, Tampa, right here, third. 2020, Tampa, right here, fourth. 2019, it ended up being St. Louis. St. Louis is all the way down at 22nd. So this is right around where they were when they were at the bottom of the league, and everybody talks about, oh, look at the miraculous comeback. I was never a believer that they were worst team in the league. As I say, they're 22nd at that point in the year at the All-Star break, and ended up winning the Stanley Cup. 2018's Cup winner, of course, the Capitals, fifth place. So the St. Louis Blues are an outlier. By the end of the season, they were much higher on the power rankings. The finalists in 2018 were the Vegas Golden Knights, who are number one on the board there. 2019, where's the 2019 finalists at? Of course, there's Columbus, who knocked off Tampa Bay. They were 10th on the board at that point. 2019 finalists. Are they really that low? They can't be that low. So St. Louis beat Boston. Where's Boston? 11th. Tampa Bay in 2020 beat Dallas. Dallas was 15th. 2021, Tampa Bay beat Montreal. And Montreal, I know they were down in this region. Weren't they? Nope. 2021, they were 14th. 2022, it was Colorado who won in the Stanley Cup final over Tampa. Tampa was fourth. So there's a good chance that your Stanley Cup winner is one of the top five teams on this board, which would mean Boston, Carolina, Tampa, Toronto, and New Jersey. Notice those are all Eastern teams. So I have a good chance of one of those teams ending up being the Stanley Cup finalist. And the top team from the West is Seattle right here. And again, I do apologize for some of these being askew. But for Seattle, they're sixth on the board. The Rangers are seventh. And this is from last Saturday. It's not the updated version I'm looking at right there. No peeking. You can't. There isn't 360 view, and I'm really glad there isn't a 360-degree view. But, it's impressive to see with all 6 seasons, and I was going to go through the whole thing, and I've run out of time in order to do so. I apologize for that. I've just completely run out of time to get the power rankings done. Between now and Saturday, I'll probably cobble together something else. But I didn't want this board to go to waste either. I felt like, all that work was done. It is a monster board. It did fall down. But you still need to make sure that the people get to see it. Because I'll always hear, too, about... Often I'll hear, oh, he's going to run out of magnets for this one. I will never run out of magnets for things. This is what a Madness board looks like, right here. We'll see how it ends up being. I'm sure there's people writing down notes and all this fun stuff on who's where. And I was going to do an average too, but yeah. I will say this, Carolina the last 3 years though, One in 2021, second in 2022, and second this year as well. So Carolina's been pretty remarkably consistent. They were 10th there. On this board here, they're 17th. The year before, they were 22nd. I remember that because that was the year I picked them to make the playoffs, and I said, you know what, forget it, I'm not picking them anymore. And so I stopped picking them to make the playoffs, and suddenly playoffs aren't a problem for Carolina anymore. So for Canes fans, you're welcome. And it doesn't mean that the team that's first is necessarily going to be first at the end of the year, but it does show that the teams that are really good by the time you reach the All-Star break are probably your better pick to end up winning the Stanley Cup, or at least being in the running. So yeah, I really wanted to do a bunch with this, but I have just run out of time. And I don't want to leave this board together when we're not here, because there's a rabbit down here that would be very happy to eat all of these magnets while we're gone. So I have to make sure the magnets are put away before we leave. So yeah, I do apologize for the fact that this didn't necessarily end up being presented the way that I wanted it to, but I'm making sure there's enough time for people to zoom in, look for your team. I've got it all done by column. I will say this. People will point out there were not 32 teams in 2020-2021. Buffalo was so bad, I kept rating Seattle ahead of them. And there was some flack I was getting for that, which was, how could you put a team ahead of them that doesn't even exist yet? There was reasons. Buffalo was miserably bad that year. Buffalo was 29th last year at the All-Star break. This year, they're 18th. So it has gotten much better for Buffalo. In terms of Vegas, it's gotten worse. They've gone from 1 to 15. They were 1 there, 6 there, 11, 5, 12, 15. Again, I think it looks really cool, and again, it just would have been a lot of fun to go through it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happen upon this video, and there's the monster board. The one board that has been sitting outside waiting, like out in the garage waiting to get used. It was frozen when it came in here as well. It's kind of warped from being out in the cold, but it got the job done. But yeah, it's been, I will say this too. It really brought to mind just how long I've been doing power rankings, and I do appreciate that my power rankings won't necessarily match up with what other people might think, for where a team should be and all of that. And that's fine. The difference of opinions always going to be there, and there will always be the he's not fair to this team, and that's part of the reason I wanted to do this too, to show that there's no pattern. There's no team that you could look at and say, well, clearly he overvalues or undervalues. It's really all over the place, as it should be. From one year to the next, we should see dramatic shifts, and that's kind of the fun part of doing power rankings every week, and being able to go back through. This is year 6. Where's the time gone? Where in the world is the time gone? So I did look at 2016, 2017. I had started doing power rankings, but I didn't start until after the All-Star break. So I felt like it would be disingenuous for me to put a 7th year on, and I'm glad I didn't, because I don't know that would have fit. It would have been close, but that was when I had 30 teams, and then it became 31, and now it's 32. So the league has expanded by 2 teams since I started power rankings. That's ridiculous. But thank you guys so much for all your support. It means a lot as we get ready to embark on our trip. And I'm hoping we have a really good time, and that it goes really, really well, and that between now and when this video goes live, there's all kinds of fun news and stuff to talk about. And after the All-Star break, we can all get back to arguing over who belongs where on the board. I'm sure there's going to be arguments in the comment section about where teams are at, because that's kind of how this works. But all I could do is watch all the games, which I have done as best I can. Even while we're in California, my plan is to watch those games and move on from there. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for making all this possible. For following the channel for that long. I mean, if you've been following it since 2017, 2018, kudos and thank you so much, because you've helped to make this channel what it is. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing right through and you're like, that's a ridiculous board. Why? If you want to know why, hit like, hit subscribe, and you'll find out why. I'm anxious for this year's playoffs. I know I say that a lot, but this year's playoffs I think will be fun. And I'm going to say straight out, as long as New Jersey's in, if Buffalo could get in, I would make the playoffs a lot of fun. But now the Islanders have picked up Horvat, so now I want Horvat in the playoffs, because I kind of want to see him, go on a run with the Islanders, and then have the Islanders go on a run in the playoffs and Horvat end up like, the MVP at least for the Islanders. I'm not saying they win the cup, but I mean, if they did, right? At any rate, I know that's all pie in the sky and all that. And it's weird for me to cheer for the Islanders to win a Stanley Cup. Me back in 1983 would have been like, are you kidding me? They just won 4 in a row. But me in 2023 says, I'd love to see Horvat win one. But at any rate, there you go. Thank you guys for all your support along the way. At the time I'm recording this, I only have 2 more of the All-Star break videos to do. I wasn't sure I was going to get them done. As soon as I started, I was like, oh my God, what have I done? But I'm close. I just have the 2 more left, and there's the one hockey game tonight, so I should be able to do those during intermission. It's funny because there's been fewer videos going live on the channel, but I've made at least 40 to 45 videos over the last 36 hours. Like, my eyes are glassing over. I'm just kind of about it. But I know it's going to be worth it because then while we're in California, I won't stress about it. The first time we went to Disneyland, I spent a lot of time at the hotel making videos and posting videos to the channel and kind of kicking myself because I missed out on a lot of stuff. I missed out on rides. I missed out on fireworks. This time I want to really enjoy it. It's been 3 years. We've gone through global shutdowns and all the other drama along the way. So I really want to enjoy a trip. And I intend to do that with vacations from now on. Just make sure that there's a bunch of stuff posted to the channel. I did that with Vegas last summer and it worked really well. So thank you guys again, and I will talk to you again soon enough. I've been talking to you guys all day today. You just don't know? You'll find out when all the videos go live and everybody's like, how do I stop subscribing to this idiot? Why are there so many videos? There's another video while I'm complaining? Yeah, it's going to be like that. I apologize, but I wanted to make sure that there was a little bit of something for everybody. And when you do a video where you're doing one video for each team, it just, I think it helps. And it kind of goes to the heart of what this channel is supposed to be, as does this. Thanks again. I will talk to you guys soon.